Hello, welcome back to the channel again. As is traditional at the start of my blither, have a look underneath the video where it says more ... next to the name, and in there you can see the timestamps of bits of the video you want to fast forward to. So again, you don't want to listen to me blither, off you go. And for those who are still here, hello. Today's blither, I am, after 40 years of cooking, going to teach myself how to cook. Sorry, excuse me, I'm a bit sort of ruffled today. Yes, I'm going to teach myself how to cook. I've been inspired by watching The Bear on, is it Disney? This chef who's starting up his own restaurant. It's brilliant. It's a bit shouty and American sometimes, but it's brilliant. And I just was inspired and thought, I don't know how to do an awful lot of the things that chefs do, which is not to say I'm a bad cook, because most of the time I'm a pretty good cook. But it's just there's little bits of finesse, little bits of the laws and rules and guidance and things like that I've never learned. So the first thing I ordered was Julia Child's and this French cooking thing. It's quite a large and meaty tome to add to my many large and meaty tomes. So I'm going to have a read that to learn about French cooking. And there's another one, salt, fat, acid, heat. It is, if I read it the wrong way right. Anyway, yeah, this apparently is really, really good. As well as I'm reading an awful lot of Anthony Bourdain, who is fantastic. The sadly demise of Anthony Bourdain. Really miss his television programs. Obviously never met him, but I miss his television programs. He was fantastic. Right, anyway, yeah, that's today's blither. Some books, lots of reading, lots of note taking. I want to try and get better at what I do, including hair. Although if you watch The Bear, the guy's always got really scruffy hair, so maybe this is the first attempt at being a better cook. Chef is having scruffy hair. So, onwards to today. It's a dish called an Ema Datshi. It's a dish from Bhutan, and essentially it's chili cheese. And nothing can go wrong with chili cheese, can it? Apart from the fact I've never done chili and cheese really in the same dish. So it's really, really interesting. It's really creamy. It's quite hot, so bear with the amount of chilies, or rather look really closely at the amount of chilies you put in. I probably could have put another one chili in. You may not, depending on how hot you want. But it's so creamy and peppery and chili and and it goes really well with some rice. So let's get on with it. I often say I really enjoy these things, but this was a surprise. So yeah, off we go. And what is on today's board of not very big board of spiciness and hoo-ness? We've got chilies. This the original dish is a very, very hot one. You want to dial this back if you're not into very, very hot food. So that's a very medium, not particularly spicy chili. And I'm going to put 2 or 3. Actually, let's get rid of that one. Well, I'm going to have 2 chilies in there. I don't want to burn my head off. So a couple of fairly pokey bird's eye type chilies, 1 medium chili, 1 pepper. That's about 220 grams of paneer, an Indian cheese. I've got some cheese left over in the fridge, so I'm going to throw in probably 150 grams of a cheddar. This is a cheesy sauce. I forgot to buy tomatoes, so I'm going to put a tablespoon of tomato puree in there. If I had tomatoes, I would scoop out the seeds and chop up 2 salad-sized tomatoes instead of the puree. 4 cloves of garlic, a good tablespoon of butter, about 100 mils of milk, and probably the equivalent of water, and a cup of rice per person, and salt if you need it. Probably about half a teaspoon, and so there you go. I think you may not need it. But right, let's get on with it. I'm going to use the trusty rice cooker to get on with my rice first. This won't take long. I'm reckoning 20-25 minutes max. And so we begin. We soften our butter in the pan. Just a point about the rice. Always make sure you wash your rice, whether you're using a rice cooker or as a saucepan. Wash your rice thoroughly so it doesn't get sticky and clumpy. So anyway, just over a tablespoon of butter, I'm going to go in with my garlic and hot chili. A point to note about the hot chili is make sure you deseed it, because that's where the real heat is. Turn the heat right down on this. And don't wipe your eye afterwards, because for about 3 or 4 minutes I couldn't see out of my right eye, which is always fun when you're cooking. Anyway, this is you're gonna soften this for 4 or 5 minutes. Don't let the butter burn, so turn the heat right down. Give that, so about 4 minutes. So that's about 4 minutes in, 4 rather than 5. We're going to add our chilies in, the red large one, capsicum, and the smaller red mild one. I'm going to add a tiddly bit of water in now, so that the butter doesn't burn. And we're going to cook that for 4 or 5 minutes until all the peppers soften. Need to add my bit of puree, about a tablespoon, or the fresh tomatoes if you've got them, which is a much better idea. I'm going to cook that off for another 2-3 minutes, making sure we don't burn, so on a fairly low heat. You're going to smell the heat coming off this if you use the same amount of peppers that I did, the chili peppers. There's a certain smell in the air of really hot chilies, and oh yes. Right, so I'm going to turn it right down, and your paneer or your choice of cheese, I have used paneer, will go in now. And I'm going to add my 100 ml of milk, probably similar of water, and this is going to be cooking really slowly until the cheese starts to melt. So keep an eye on that. Maybe add a little salt if you want to, half teaspoon at most. So that's going to be cooking for about, I reckon, 10 minutes till the cheese starts to melt. So about halfway through, what we're about, I don't know, I think about 7 or 8 minutes in, that's starting to head in the right direction. I'm going to add a little bit more water, splash more milk, and some of my cupboard cheddar. So although this dish is from Bhutan, you can actually use cheese from all over the place. One of the recipes that I found, they'd added dairy cheese triangles to the mix, and that seemed to work out quite well in a sort of a traditional recipe website. But I'm going to do this. I think the cheddar is going to work really well. I think the paneer is going to work really well, but we're heading, when look at that, it's all starting to soften down now. That's going to be brilliant. It's also going to be really spicy. Those chilies are going to go, ah! Right, I'll give that probably another 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes. So in the end, I think this worked out to about 15 to 20 minutes final bit of cooking. You can serve it like this if you want, but I'm going to give it a quick whiz with my blender. And that is that. A chili cheese sauce from Bhutan. Right, let's load him up. Da-da-da. Let's get the rice in there. And get the chili cheese over the top of it. And that is Simple as anything. There are no herbs or spices in there. It is all vegetables, or chilies, as the case may be, and garlics and cheese of your liking, and a little bit of tomato, either puree or chopped tomatoes. That is, that's really good. I like that. I'm going to do that again, I think. Thank you. Next time. Bye.